It's time to ignite the dynamite here on February 8th, 2023. I'm your host, Kaden Lee. Welcome, everybody. I have not done one of these in a really long time. I wanted to do these a little more permanently. Never really got around to doing it just because I've been busy with everything. I went to a lot of dynamites in a row, traveled a lot, ended up being busy on Wednesdays. So finally have a Wednesday where I can do this. I wanted to go live 30 minutes earlier, but had some issues with StreamYard. So, of course, nothing's been going my way with this show recently. But I am here with, unfortunately, not even an updated graphic anymore. I spent so long. If you guys look at that typeface, I know it's boring, but I spent a lot of time trying to get that Dynamite typeface right. And now it's not even, it doesn't even matter because they got rid of it. So I'm really annoyed about that. But welcome, everybody, to Ignite the Dynamite here. Wednesdays before Dynamite, I will be previewing this week's episode of AEW Dynamite as I go ahead and I make sure I have that full card up, posted on fight.com, where I'll be getting this from, where I always get it from, trying to make sure I have it. Yeah, so we're just going to go, I'm going to go down this list. If people want to join me, my boys from around the point, they have the link, or they should have the link, so they can join me if they want to hop on for a little bit. Make sure you guys drop in your comments how you're feeling about this week's episode of Dynamite as I preview everything. Let me know who you think is going to win the matches. If you think something interesting is going to happen, just leave your thoughts there. Of course, I'm already having computer issues because my laptop is absolute hot garbage and has been really bad all day today. I don't know what's going on with my laptop. I'm just going to hop onto YouTube and just make sure that everything is going as it should. Yeah, it looks good. Not the greatest quality, but oh well. Yeah. Let's get started. So the first match that Fightful has listed here is an AEW Women's World Championship Eliminator match. Jamie Hayter, the champion, will be taking on the Bunny. If the Bunny wins and beats Jamie Hayter, she will get a championship opportunity. There's been a lot of these in AEW. Moxley did a ton as champion when he faced Mance Warner and a few other, he was facing some indie guys and some lesser known people because he wanted to just have the matches on television. And so Jamie's going to have one tonight against the Bunny. That was supposed to happen, I think, 2 months ago. And she ended up facing Penelope Ford, I believe, was who she took on instead, because the Bunny was had an injury, I believe the day before or something, or she was sick, something like that. So the Bunny finally getting her opportunity here. Jamie Hayter is winning. I have no doubt in my mind. I think this is probably going to go around to 7 minutes, maybe 10, if they want to do a P&P during that. That's the only way I could see it getting to 10, but I see probably 7.5 to 8 minutes here. And Jamie Hayter winning with that Haterade. They'll do something in this to kind of set up where they're going next with the women's story. It feels like they're setting up a women's blood and guts. I like the story. I know a lot of people really don't. I like the story of Outsiders versus Originals. I think it fits fairly well. I'm watching WCW right now, and I'm watching the story of, I just got to where the Outsiders started coming in. I think I'm a month or two out of Bash at the Beach 96. So the Outsiders taking over. So I think if you do an Outsider versus Original story correctly, I think it'll work, especially with AEW. Since their existence, they've consistently brought up the point of Outsiders taking on Originals. And they've kind of mentioned that everywhere with the 4 pillars and the whole thing about signing ex-WWE guys, MJF's whole promo in June of 2022 in Los Angeles at the Fabulous Kia Forum, saying that Tony Khan prefers to pay his ex-WWE guys and instead of paying his home guys. And what would happen if he was an ex-WWE guy? Would Tony pay him more? So I think it's good to use that in a story. It just depends on how you do it and how you execute it. I liked the execution. I have liked the execution. I just want it to be more consistent. It feels like they're not going consistent on a road. It feels like here's your starting point, here's your end point, and they're going like this to get there. And they're not taking one straight road. They're doing all these zigzags and they're taking all these forks in the road because there's not a consistent vision. And I said this on Around the Point. I think there was a consistent vision, but that consistent vision involved Mercedes Moné, who no longer ended up coming into the company. Because I believe that when Tony Khan booked that tag match for Los Angeles, that he believed Mercedes was the one in that match. I think he had some reason to believe that. And I think that screwed up a lot of their story, and they're going in different directions. So I just need a coherent vision on the story. Hopefully tonight we continue to see it. I think the last 2 weeks of storytelling has been consistent. I just needed to keep going. And I also need more. Last week, we didn't even get any match involving the women in this story because they did Red Velvet versus Jade Cargill, which is good. But let's put another women's match on the show. I said I didn't think Brian Cage and Konosuke Takeshita needed to be on that show. I would have put it on Rampage. So put another women's match there, or put a women's segment. Give them a talking segment in the ring instead of just outside. Because I don't know the last time we got a full-on women's promo battle in the middle of a ring. The last time I remember was Thunder Rosa and Serena Deeb going into Double or Nothing, and that promo segment was really bad. I think it was in Houston, and I was there when Serena Deeb brought out Dustin Rhodes. Like, that was not a great segment. So I need more from the women. I want Tony to put faith in them and to put them on TV and to give them the spotlight, because I think that with what they're given, they work their asses off. And I mean, the fans showed up for Jamie Hayter versus Hikaru Shida in the main event of Holiday Bash on December 21st. They showed that they want women's wrestling. They like women's wrestling. The fans, I really thought the fans have done a good job recently of showing up for women's matches and bringing the noise. Not as great as they could be. I think some people are still sitting on their hands when they shouldn't be. And that's partially just due to where they're slotted. They're slotted most of the time before the main event. But Tony, I've been saying, if Tony can put them in good positions, I think they can succeed. You just got to put them in the position to succeed instead of putting them in that position to fail. Next, I'll talk about the Acclaim taking on the Guns, AEW World Tag Team Championship match. I'm feeling a title change here. I don't like the Guns. I really don't like the Ass Boys. I was pissed off when they beat FTR. I was there. Again, Holiday Bash. That was I think it was either the match before or like a few matches before Jamie and Shida. I don't want them to be the ones to beat the Acclaimed, but I also really don't like the Acclaimed for personal things, and I've said that in multiple podcasts. It's just a thing that I just don't like Max Caster. So I just don't really care for them. I don't necessarily want them on my television just because it's just right now for me, just some stuff going on where I'm just like, I can't. It's hard to watch the matches and get invested, and that's my own personal fault. I understand that. It's my own thing, and I don't expect other people to feel that way. It's my own thing. So but even then, I wouldn't want them being beaten by the Guns. I just feel like they're going to do the Guns and FTR. I think they could do a three-way between all three of these teams at Revolution. If you remember Revolution 2022, they did another three-way for the tag belts where it was the Young Bucks, I believe it was Jurassic Express, who were the tag champions at the time, and it was Red Dragon. So I could see them doing another triple threat for the tag belts. I think they also did that at Double or Nothing. They like to do their triple threats for the tag belts. They've shown that they like to do that. So I could see them doing another triple threat for the tag belts at Revolution and having FTR beat the Guns there, having the Guns be the transitional champions. You get that match. You just get them that quick little title run to just get some heat. FTR beats them, takes the belts off the Guns, and you can do Guns and the Acclaimed at Double or Nothing. You do the rematch there. I think that could be a really good story, doing the Guns and the Acclaimed for March, April, and May. I think that could be fun. You could get some good stuff out of that. I think Bowens and Dax is going to be a great match if you want to really go into that feud. And then you can still, at that point, I would just get rid of the Guns. But there's a few options you can go here. I also have Billy Gunn turning heel on the Acclaimed. I have him joining with the Guns to help his sons finally win those tag titles. If he's a good father, he should help his sons and not the Acclaimed. I think it'd be more of a heel move to not help his sons. I just don't understand. I also think the Acclaimed are over because of Daddy Ass. Like, that's 90% of their gimmick is Scissor Me Daddy Ass. I think they got to get over without him. See if he can do it. And if they can't, then that's an issue. And that means they're not truly over. Daddy Ass is the one who's over. Billy Gunn, who's 55, 60 at this point, and he's the one who's over in that group. More than anything, I think they got to prove that they can be over on their own. I have the Guns winning. Next up, a AEW World Championship Eliminator match. Another Eliminator match. MJF taking on Konosuke Takeshita. They've been building this up for a few weeks with MJF cutting that promo on Takeshita. Believe that was in Los Angeles. Yeah, that was January 11th, so almost a month ago since they started this, and they did the brawl last week, and they announced that Takeshita, if he beats MJF tonight, then he will get a title opportunity some point down the line. I have MJF winning, no doubt in my mind. I like that they finally gave Takeshita a big win, and this is a very big match for Takeshita. I could see this opening the show. Actually, let me look at. I think this is actually maybe it closes and you do Elite, AR Fox, and Top Flight to open. I don't know. There's a few options that you could do for that. But I do think MJF is going to win. I don't know if he cheats. I wouldn't have MJF cheat. I'd have him win clean here to show that he can actually win in a 60-minute Ironman match. Because if you cheat in an Ironman match and you're caught, then you are cost a pinfall. So that could be a little interesting to see him try to actually win clean here. Maybe he tries to win clean and he can't, so then he does have to cheat. Maybe Brian evens the odds when he does try to cheat. Brian runs out and takes the ring from him or tells the ref, hey, he's got the ring. There's some interesting things you can do here, and I think overall MJF, I think he's going to have a really good match, and I think he needs it. I did not like the Mox match. The Starks match was much better. I had a good time with the Starks match. I just wish I felt like I was at that show, and I got a really bad headache by the time the match started, but that was a good match. It was much better than the Moxley match. And so I want a good athletic match of MJF here. I hope it's not just that once the classic heel working over the babyface throughout the whole match. I want a good athletic back and forth between these two guys. I think it could be a really, really good match if you just let them go like MJF did with Darby Allin. You can do a mixture of the heel working like he did with Darby, but you can also have a back and forth athletic match. And he did that with Wheeler Yuta as well. That was my second favorite MJF match. And if in front of a crowd, my number one would probably actually be that Jungle Boy match because that was also really good. It just wasn't in front of a crowd. The only thing that took it down a peg. That was a great match. Yeah, MJF is good when you let him work athletically or when he chooses to work athletically. And yeah, the Punk match also. Like I'm just going through the MJF matches that I can remember that were like legitimately a good back and forth. And there's not many to choose from because he doesn't wrestle a lot. But when he has those, he has good matches. Like he had one with Sammy Guevara too. That was a good one. And then next up, I mentioned the Elite, Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks taking on AR Fox and Top Flight. The Elite make their return on Dynamite for the first time since January 11th. When they won the belts, Kenny Omega had a visa issue. They did wrestle last week against the Firm, Matt Hardy, Isaiah Cassidy, Ethan Page on Rampage, but they were not on Dynamite. So we are going to hear Carry On, My Wayward Son, yet again on Dynamite tonight as they face the winner of the $300,000 Three Kings Trios Battle Royal. I think that's what it's called. Casino Battle Royal, I think it was at the end too, maybe. I don't know. I was there. It was fun. AR Fox and Top Flight won, and they did Top Flight took on Claudio 2-on-1. Top Flight beat the Young Bucks 2 weeks ago in Fresno, I believe is where they were. Fresno on the 18th edition of Dynamite, January 18th. If anybody in the chat wants to correct me if I'm wrong about Fresno, I'm pretty sure they were in Fresno. So yeah, Top Flight, they got the upset win here. That magic will not continue. However, I have the Elite winning here in a very fun, high flyer, quick match, cruiserweight. My spot foo that Romeo from True Heel Heat has been saying I need some help with my spot fest lovings, but I love a good spot fest. That's what we're likely going to get tonight between these two teams. It's going to be a humper. This is going to be such a fun match. I'm very excited to see what these two teams do. And great, I made it 15 minutes in, and now my Wi-Fi bar has showed up. If anybody in the chat can just let me know if my Wi-Fi is okay. I can also check on YouTube just to make sure. I just want to make sure that I'm like clear and y'all can hear me. I look good. A little choppy, but. And then the last two matches, I'll talk about Bryan Danielson versus Roosh. Bryan Danielson, I believe this is the last match that he has to wrestle. Maybe he has one more after this. Before he gets the match against Maxwell Jacob Friedman in a 60-minute Ironman match for the AEW World Championship. And thank you, Steve, saying you're good. Appreciate it. Yeah, 60-minute Ironman match at Revolution. I believe this is either the last or second to last match that Danielson has to wrestle. And he'll be taking on the Hitman for Hire, Roosh. This is going to be a very, very fun match. I'm really excited to see these two go at it. Two Ring of Honor staples. I believe they're both former Ring of Honor World Champions. I'm pretty sure Rush had the World Championship, and I know Bryan Danielson did. So I'm excited to see what these two do here if you give them time. I thought last week's match with Thatcher was a little too long, a little drawn out, could have used less time there. This is a match where if you like give them more time, the more time you give, I think the better it's going to be as compared to last week where I think it needed to be shortened down. And then the week before was Brian Cage, and that just isn't the style of match. Like, it can be fun matches, but it's not what I wanted to see, especially coming out of the first two matches being Konosuke Takeshita and Bandito. And those were fantastic back and forth athletic matches. And that's what I expect from tonight. These guys are similarly sized, and like Rush is obviously going to be bigger than Bryan Danielson. Bryan Danielson's a smaller dude, but they are similarly sized. He's not like a Brian Cage massive guy, a monster beating up on him. So I think they're going to have a very, very good in-ring mix of technical match here, and a lot of their they're going to show off their speed for sure. It's going to be a really fun match between these two guys. And this is probably the match of the night. I think MJF and Takeshita could be if they work a match like the Darby match, like the based on his size, I'll say more like the Punk match in Chicago, or like the I guess Takeshita's bigger than Jungle Boy, so I'll say yeah, Punk. Punk's a little small. I think he's smaller than Takeshita by a little bit because Takeshita's big, but still similarly sized. I would say like that. Yeah, the match in Chicago, that was really good. And Takeshita is a better in-ring worker right now than CM Punk is at the time that they did this last year. It was about a year ago when they did that match. So, and Takeshita right now is in better ring shape. He's a better in-ring wrestler. Like, storyteller might be a different story, but I'm saying in the ring, Takeshita right now is a better wrestler than CM Punk was at this point last year when they had that match in Chicago. Technically 2 matches. So I think this is going to be a really good match for them, and that could definitely steal the show instead. Something that will not steal the show to me, Ricky Starks, as he has to run the Garcia Guevara gauntlet. He will first face Trey Parker, or not Trey Parker, no. What's his fucking name? Cool Hand Angelo Parker. Yeah, Cool Hand Angelo Parker. Then he'll face Daddy Magic Matt Menard. If he beats Cool Hand, he'll face Daddy Magic Matt Menard, what makes Daddy Magic's nipples hard. And then after he faces that, they will tell him if he is facing Guevara or Garcia, I think is what they're saying, is that after he beats Daddy Magic, or if he beats Daddy Magic, then they tell him who he's facing third, and he'll face either Garcia or Guevara, and if he wins, he will get a second match against Jericho. I don't understand the point of this. Starks beat Jericho, so why does Starks need to go through hoops to get a match against Jericho when he already beat the guy? Why does he need to do it again? I don't really understand that, but fine. I think it's going to be like a fine match. I think he'll just squash Parker. He might beat Magic in like 2 to 3 minutes and then have a longer match with Garcia or Guevara. My prediction is I think Guevara takes the spot and loses, and we're going to get that split between Garcia and Guevara probably maybe tonight, because I have them facing each other at Supercard, and Supercard is in 2 months. So I think we're not the split right now. We'll get the split soon. The split, I'll say the split comes at Revolution, but I think this starts to plant those seeds because they've been buddy. Like, Garcia was not happy that Guevara was his accountability buddy, or his mentor, I guess is what they're saying in this story. Accountability buddy was for Spears and Wardlow, but even I gotta fix that. But I lost my train of thought. Oh, yeah, he wasn't very happy about it, and they've been fine. Like, since then, they've been in cohesion from what I've seen. I don't watch Rampage, so if there's something that happened on Rampage, I don't fucking know. I didn't watch it. I don't watch that show. Just don't have time. So, just from what I've seen on TV, I think that they haven't had issues. I could see them having some issues tonight because Garcia might want to be in that match, and Guevara is going to be the one instead, and he'll lose to Bryan Danielson. Or not Bryan Danielson, he'll lose to Ricky Starks. I don't know why I thought Bryan Danielson. Yeah, he'll lose to Ricky Starks. Yeah, that is AEW Dynamite. I went through the matches, talked a little bit about the storylines. And yeah, thank you guys so much for joining. Make sure you guys leave a big ol' thumbs up on this video. Make sure you subscribe if you have not already. Hit the bell for notifications. I'm going to try to do this show more in the future and have guests on. Nobody ended up joining, but Twitter's having issues. I don't know who even saw the link. But yes, thank you guys, everybody who joined. Have fun watching AEW Dynamite. I will see you guys tomorrow on the Around the Point Network to cover Dynamite on our show, something about Dynamite or sad. Although I think I'll be pretty happy tomorrow about this week's Dynamite. And let's ignite that Dynamite, shall we?